Welcome, friends and family. So excited to be here with you in the month of December 2025. Wow, this year has come and is almost gone. I'm here today with a phenomenal friend of mine, great team member, the number one landman in the state of Tennessee, Trace Lamb. Trace.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for being here with us today,
Thank
my
you for
friend.
having me.
Absolutely. Trace and I, as a team, we go through a book a quarter. In this quarter, we're going through Make Today Count. And Mr. Trace Lamb, the number one landman in the state of Tennessee, had the privilege of going over this chapter with us. And the chapter was about chapter 10, about generosity. And who better to share, and is there a better time of year to talk about generosity?
Not around Thanksgiving or Christmas.
Holidays.
That is the absolute perfect time.
Yes. And so you've always struck me as a really generous man, Trace, and I appreciate, again, you being here. As you read through chapter 10, what are some of the things that really resonated with you through this book?
What resonated with me would have been, it talks about, generosity of what you put your time into and what you put your money into. And where your money is, your attention is going to be also. So the main focus for me would have been, your time. Are you generous with your time?
Yeah. Yeah, so let me ask you then, my friend, what is easier for you, to be more generous with your time or with your money?
For myself, I would have to say my time.
Okay.
I have been known to overextend myself from time to time. As far as with money goes versus time. When it comes to, somebody asks me for $300, I'm going to question. But if somebody asks me, hey, I need help this Saturday, even though if I have a busy schedule, I'm going to make time for that person to help them out.
So, and I think that is very interesting because, some people will struggle more with giving. It might be easier for them to give money than time. And for others, they'll spend time. And like you said, how do you spell love with a child?
T-I-M-E.
T-I-M-E every time, man. And that's, so it's beautiful. How does that work like in your everyday relationships? Like, let's say with Graceland, like, do you feel like are you able to put a lot of time into him?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Anytime that I get with him, due to our dynamic, most of the time I'm spending with him either what he wants to do, or we're going out on showings together.
Yeah,
or
that's awesome.
He's right beside me when I'm working downstairs, just getting the day-to-day things finished.
You look like you'd be a fun dad.
I hope so. I would hope that I am.
You look like you'd be a fun dad, but you're a big dude too, so I'm sure when you need to be firm, you can do that as well.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I love the concept of generosity being not just money but time, and I think that's a great intro, Trace, to what we're talking about today, because time and money are both very important. Obviously, they continue to print money. You don't get to print time. So being that you value your time, Trace, and you continue to give it to people so freely, I'm sure there's challenges with that. Do you ever feel like that people take advantage of your generosity?
I wouldn't say I feel that way, just because I've been blessed. God has blessed me with a servant's heart.
Amen.
I want to help everybody out as much as I can. I guess I have blinders on if they are taking advantage of me. Yeah.
Well, that's good. So, kind of the next question I wanted to ask you is, and John Maxwell did such a great job in here of, if you find it hard to be generous with your time or with your money, if you find that to be a challenge, he put in here are some good ways that you can, easy steps that can help you get started in being more generous. It was on page 106. So I'll kind of go through here maybe and ask you a few questions as we walk through this. Okay, so what does it mean to add value to others, and how do you do it? Here is how to start. Value people. This means treating people with respect. And do you find that hard to do?
I don't necessarily. I have been taught at a very early age that you treat people with respect. You treat the lowest as if they are the CEO or the president, no matter where they're at in their life.
Yeah, and do you feel like that is sometimes like the Southern hospitality?
I do.
Like we've been raised in the South to have some manners and to really take time for people. So that's not something that you struggle with as far as valuing people, but sometimes people, you see people that will move here from different states, and sometimes you see they're in that fast-paced lifestyle that sometimes they're just maybe a little disrespectful towards people.
Yeah.
And I don't think they necessarily realize it. I think a lot of times it may be the culture they're in.
Yep, definitely the culture.
So when you value people, that means that you take time to slow down, to look them in the eye, to smile, to ask about their day. Those are things that's one easy way, according to Maxwell, to get started on showing generosity to people. Next one, Tracy put in here, know what people value. So this means listening and seeking to understand others. Tell me, man, how's that play out with the people that are close to you? Like, how do you know what people value? Who do you do that with, and what's that look like for you?
For me, it would have to be Becca and Grayson, knowing what they value and what they want. And it, just like you said, spell love for a child is T-I-M-E. And that would be also with a spouse too, depending on their love language. For my wife and my son, it would be time with them.
Yeah.
I tried to have a good balance with that, but
And how do you do that? Like, when practically, what's that look like for you? How do you spend time with Becca? How do you spend time with Grayson when you're doing that?
So I set schedules.
Yeah.
I have to set schedules. You know, I'm here at work, they're at their jobs, they're at their school. From, you know, in the mornings when I wake up, I'll make breakfast for them.
Oh man.
And I will wake them up ahead of schedule, what they want. Sometimes a little backlash, but they enjoy that time, I believe.
That's great.
And even in the evening times, sometimes I have to be genuine and have to stop what I'm doing. And
Yeah, you got to be intentional. I think a
Yes,
lot of men come
intentional.
home after working all day. Of course, in our work, it's never off.
yes,
You know, I mean, you're going to be in real estate. It's not a bad thing, but it's an always-on thing. So you got to be extremely intentional to make it a scheduled point. And I think a lot of men will come home from working all day and just kind of hit the couch and not get up from there. And you know, when you worked hard all day, when you worked hard all week, some of that makes sense. But I think those words you use, schedule and intentional. So being both of those, that's wonderful. I know you fixed a garage door recently. You told us that. That spells love, doesn't it? When you take time to listen, you know, because you know they're telling you they want something done, and you actually go and do it.
yes, sir.
That relays that, hey, I care. I heard you. Make myself more valuable. This means growing in order to give, because I cannot give what I do not possess. How would you say that looks in your life, Mr. Trace? Making yourself more valuable. What's that look like for you practically?
That is a great question.
Well, let's say this. Like, let's not make it something real big. You know what I mean? Like starting a new career. Obviously, that makes you more valuable, right?
Yes.
When you transition from where you're at to where you kind of are in a comfort zone to go into something new, sometimes that can add some big value to you. So, you know, financially, it can add value to you. But realistically, what are some practical things that you do like every day or weekly that can help you become more valuable? Like if we're trying to lose weight, what's some things that you can do just practically? And just from your experience, brother.
Yeah, being around people that are in a encouraging and growth environment, setting schedules or boundaries to be better. But the big key thing would be around people.
Yeah.
You know, you have to get around people. Who you're around is who you will be.
Amen. Yeah, I've heard that saying plenty of times. The top 5 people you hang around with will become the sum of who you are, like in your marriage, in your finances, and in all areas. So being in an environment where growth is the norm, not the exception, right? Like today, I think that we're in an environment where we're actually reading books. Do you think that adds value?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and you know, they've showed surveys that like once somebody graduates college, 8% will never read another. 8%, only 8% will read a book after college. So, yeah, I think those are things. What about setting goals? Are those things that you're beginning to do? Like, have you started setting goals, writing out goals?
Yes, sir. I have. For my previous employments, and in life in general, I've never really set many goals, and I've always had them up here but I never went after them.
Right.
And it wasn't until I got into real estate and around the right people that I set goals and had them in front of me
Yeah.
and strived to get those goals.
Yeah. So like we know the stats, like only 6% of people will ever actually write down a goal and achieve it. And there's a process to writing down goals. And it's not all that complicated. We've been doing that because it's the beginning of our year. And 2026 is less than 30 days away. So we've been doing that with that in mind. But we also write down goals weekly, right? Like how many people we want it to help buy a piece of property, how many appointments we want to go on. So when you set goals, do you feel like that helps you become more valuable?
I think so.
Yeah, it's when only 6% of people are doing it, actually writing down and accomplishing goals. Isn't that kind of a staggering thought? I mean, how hard is it to write down a goal?
Not very hard.
But how many times, if you didn't write down the goal, would you have not pressed to go on that appointment or made that phone call or help that person get what they were looking for? There'd be a lot of times you'd come short, right? Like a lot of times, if you set a goal and you put it in writing, man, it feels like you're actually going to achieve it versus it's easy to say it. It's a whole other thing
To do it.
Exactly. And then you said another word, man, that I think is super important. The environment you're in, accountability. How does that feel to you? Does that add more value to you when you have people that are going to hold you accountable?
It does.
Yeah.
It does. Because people will lift you up. You feel important.
You feel cared for.
You feel cared for.
Right. That's the way it should be.
Yes.
And I don't think a lot of people actually feel that way. I honestly think a lot of people think, why would they ask me if I did that or didn't? Why would they ask me if I want to? And I think a lot of people are kind of they juke accountability. Like it's a scary thing to them. But the truth is, when it's done right, you're being cared for. You're being, when you get a football team and you know your position on that place, and the quarterback says, calls the call, and you move into your position, that's helping you be held accountable. That's why they practice plays. That's why they bring a team out to get to work together, because the stronger a unit works together, the more it can get done, the more it can help, the more it can build. But without accountability, the Bible tells us, without a vision, my people perish. Without knowledge, my people perish. But when you have proper accountability around you, it does help you grow, and it does add value. And we don't want people in life that are just going to tell us what we want to hear. To me, I don't know if that's caring. If you always just say, Elijah, yeah, that's fine, or yeah, that's good, or, good enough. Do you really care? Did you really inspect? Did you really take time to ask the questions to help me be my best? Or were you just kind of, yeah, that's good. So good. I believe that. Those are some real practical ways. And then obviously, man, I love Maxwell. Do things that God values. Since He unconditionally loves people, so must I. Tell me a little bit about that, Trace. When did your journey with the Lord start?
So my journey started when I was 7 years old. Was born again then. It wasn't until I was later on in life did I get, actually mentally focused on that.
When was that? Like for you, when did that?
30,
Okay.
29, 30 years old.
Okay. And how old are you now?
I'm 34.
Okay. So about 4 years ago.
4 or 5 years, yes, sir.
Okay. And so what's the difference in how you value people today versus before God in your life? I mean, obviously you had a mind of it, but were you walking out the principles? Were you really living the life, or did you just have the shirt, right?
So like I said before, God has given me a servant's heart, but I was being intentional with people, serving people, being friendly to people to almost get from them. Now it's, hey, what can I do for you?
Yeah.
Versus what you can do for me.
Yeah.
And that's a whole 180 switch from.
So when you go serve at Young Life, at Life Church, what are you getting paid to do that?
Nothing.
And so there's no pay. You're just doing that because that's truly who you are, and that's the heart God's given you. And again, I think for generosity with time, man, you are the poster board person for that. I see you being that guy. And when we understand that God values people, unconditionally loves people, so must I. For you, it's just like I get to. I get to be who God called me to be. I get to actually care and love and treat people with respect.
Yeah.
and it doesn't make me look less.
Yeah.
Because the world tells us that if we're always serving or helping people, then there's probably something wrong with us. Maybe we're weak, or maybe we need a crutch. But when we truly align our lives with the principles that God's given us, then naturally we're going to want to help and serve people. Mm-hmm. Trace, I appreciate you, man, so much.
Sir.
Thank you for coming out today.
Thank you, sir.
Listening audience, we appreciate you coming out. I'm sure we'll be back in front of you again before Merry Christmas. Mm-hmm. But if we don't, from Trace and I, from all of us here at Elevate Real Estate, hope you have a very Merry Christmas. Thank you.